A couple of companies have come out with some new takes on standard measuring tools. I've been playing with them for a couple of months, and I thought you might like to know about them as well. Uniruler sent me one of the first production units of their new folding ruler. It's an updated version of the classic folding ruler, made of glass-filled nylon instead of boxwood. But it has some interesting features that take it beyond a standard folding ruler. To start with, there's a hook on one end, so you can use it much like you would a tape measure, hooking it on the edge of a part and measuring that way. Each segment also has holes in it, which allows you to use it as a scribe running along the edge of a part. Any of the pivot joints can be taken apart, so you can use it in tighter spaces if needed. The pivot pin in the first joint is marked for angle measurements, and the blade underneath it has common measurements marked out at 22.5-degree angles, making the Uniruler pretty useful for basic layout work. The Uniruler blades are pierced with holes at every inch marking, and the blade at one end is pierced for finer graduations. These allow the Uniruler to be used as a Dremel, and there's a pretty wide range of circles you can lay out with this thing. I'm sure I've missed some of the features that this thing's capable of, but you can check it all out at www.uniruler.com. And while we're still making circles, let's look at the Compass Guide tape measure from Future Tools LLC. At first glance, the Compass Guide seems to be a standard 25-foot tape measure. But release the lock button just above the blade, and a pivot pin pops out, which allows you to lock the blade where you want it and make circles of virtually any size, up to 25 foot. Part of the hook actually extends above the blade, which makes it much easier to hold a pencil as you're marking your circle. It is a bit difficult to keep the pin engaged if you're working very close to the large hook, but overall this is a very handy tool to have around at the job site. Future Tools also sent me their Swivel 360 25-foot tape measure. This tape features a large rubber-coated hook that pivots and swings to allow you to grab onto objects that you might not be able to grab otherwise. This rounded corner molding can be hard to grasp, especially when it's backed up by another molding that gets in the way, but the Swivel 360 picks it up pretty easily and gives you a pretty firm grip. It's highly useful for soft, rounded, or otherwise unusual hooking locations. Even the rounded back on this chair is no problem for the Swivel 360. It certainly isn't an everyday use tape, but I can see it being useful on the job site or at the lumberyard. You can find out more about these tapes at www.futuretoolsllc.com. I've been using the Uniruler, the Compass Guide, and the Swivel 360 around my home and shop for a couple of months now, and I definitely think they're worth your look.